Luke, Lottie, it's really nice to have you both here with me on the podcast. Of course, you are a couple, a married couple, and you also have Virtual Lottie together. So,
Yes.
of course, I had to invite you on to talk about exactly this. Um, but tell me more about yourselves and, of course, Virtual Lottie.
Yeah. So
Cool. I'll let
this
you
is
go.
Lottie. I'm Luke.
Let you go first. It's your name on the tin.
Yeah. I'm Well, I started it first and then Luke came in a couple of years later. We've always discussed whether or not to rebrand as a couple, but
Hmm.
it's always just come down to you've always felt that Virtual Lottie was okay, haven't you?
Yeah, I'm fine operating under the brand.
Yeah,
So
he prefers me being the ambassador and working behind the scenes, but I am pushing him front and center like today. So
yes.
Yeah.
yeah, I started it maybe almost 5 years ago, coming up in
Yeah.
December. So
Mm.
I was a
Yeah.
primary teacher before then, and I started it in January 2021.
Uh-huh. Right in
So
COVID times.
just
Yeah,
after
just after. It's probably what pushed me out of primary teaching, really. But yeah, basically. So I started it, I was like doing more of a PA role, but clients started asking about social media, and then I kind of gradually went into that and then did a couple of
Mm.
courses. Then Luke started helping just as like
Mm.
extra layers of help, kind of like, when a contractor asks his wife to help with
Yeah.
admin, I
Oh,
did the other way around
of course. Yeah. Yeah.
on
yeah, it was kind
weekends.
of like my Saturday job, wasn't it? On the side of
You
teaching.
had extra pocket money.
Yeah, I did. I was a cat man for a
Uh-huh.
little while, which is
He
nice.
was. He was my Saturday girl.
Uh-huh. Okay.
And then
So far, Luke, you've been called a girl, you've been
Yeah.
called Lottie.
Yes.
his long hair, he's hiding it well, but he has been. It's an innuendo. We were in a restaurant once, and a waitress came up from behind Luke and went, "Right, ladies," and I just went
And she
because
didn't backtrack either. She was like, "So what can I get you girls? What would you
Okay.
like?" I was like,
Wow,
"Fair enough.
really?
Yeah, you've earned
Oh
this." So,
no.
yeah. She
Okay.
didn't want to go back. So
Yeah.
fair play.
Wow.
Luke's the
Commitment.
role of a woman. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
But
Sure.
it's a
Sure.
very female-dominated industry
Mm.
of virtual assistants, so
Yes.
quite nice to have that anyway. But yeah, Luke came on about almost
Yeah.
3 years now.
3 years ago, yeah.
3 years ago,
Okay.
officially
Yeah.
as an associate, and then
Mm.
he kind of got
Rose through the
promoted.
ranks.
He got
Yeah,
promoted like so much in a year.
yeah.
I should get a bonus for that.
Because as I left teaching, once I'd got my A level last A level class through, because I was a secondary teacher,
Okay.
then
Uh-huh.
came into business in the summer, and then in the September of that year, we went traveling and working at the same time. So it
Mm.
was kind of, originally I was supposed to just be sort of like
So unintended for Luke to be a
I was going to
co-director.
just be like the silent partner, just doing
Yeah.
all the quiet typey type stuff in the
Mm.
background, kind
Yeah.
of magically adding capacity to what Lottie was
Yeah.
doing.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
but then I think
It just got to the point where I got back to those 60-hour weeks at teaching. We weren't really traveling, so
no,
we
and
didn't
you
feel
had
like
a
we
lot of mental burden from doing all the business running things, where I
Yeah.
was kind of just, oh, I've just got to do some jobs. It's nice and
Sure.
easy.
It was an employee
I was kind
mindset.
of like point
Yeah.
and shoot
Yeah.
worker drone, which would have been fine, but actually I think I could see the impact it was having on kind of Lottie's
Okay.
well-being
Yeah,
and like
I think it was more like I was managing the team. Luke
Mm. Mm-hmm.
just felt like
and
I had, and yeah, and I had my own clients,
Mm.
doing our own marketing and stuff. So then I slowly start giving Luke like our
Yeah.
marketing like every other week. It's been a slow burn
Mm.
to get to a point where we are now. Like Luke fully
Mm.
runs, he's the co-director, but fully runs Virtual Lottie now. I just have a
Mm.
great time at networking events,
Okay.
mine,
Is
no,
it? Is
but I
it?
also have a second business as well.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. That's funny because, of course, Luke, you and I met networking.
No,
yes,
I didn't
yes,
realize
yeah.
that.
Yeah, I didn't realize, Lottie, that at the moment networking tends to be your role, and Luke take cares
It,
most of other things.
it was exclusively Lottie's role doing the networking because it was something that is
You
much
hated.
higher up of her kind of enjoyment things, whereas I didn't like
Sure.
even the premise of it. I was like, it just sounds really crazy.
Yeah.
Not for me.
You
But
had to
then
rip off plaster
and
because it
then
got to the point where my business
Mm.
has got to a point where it's almost even income as well as
Mm,
busyness. Like I do
yeah.
9 to 5 just on my own business now. And it's
Mm,
also enabled me to go all in,
yeah.
increase, scale it up
Mm,
where, I could offer multiple streams really. Whereas
mm,
now Luke's taken over Virtual Lottie, I kind of
mm.
said to him, like, look, people were getting confused by seeing my face and then I would
Okay.
give them
And
to
then
Luke
Luke.
on the disco calls. And
Yeah.
actually, we just had to rip off the band-aid once, didn't we?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And kind of did a few local ones, but then
Yeah.
it's been nice to kind of go
Mm,
out and into some online networking and
mm,
some networking as well in the local area.
And they're outside of the ones that I do. And
yeah.
actually, I think Luke brings in a different client base than me. So it's
Mm,
been nice to see the
mm.
difference in like,
Yeah.
because you do mirror the people that you attract, don't you?
Sure. Yeah. 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 Totally.
Yeah, I think we
Yeah.
definitely have different. When I've watched us both, well, I've watched Lottie Network, and then how I know how I
Mm.
approach situations. They're very different kind of approaches. So I think it does going to
Okay.
different places. It kind
Yeah.
of,
Uh,
Very
I
good
think it
one-on-one,
works.
whereas I'm really loud. So I'm like quite like Marmite. You either love or hate me. I think it's a musical theatre
Yeah,
background. Whereas, and I'm fine with that. That's fine.
yeah.
Whereas you're really good with
maybe a slightly more considered and kind of
Mm,
an introvert.
approach.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
it's still you still do really well. You signed a fair few clients from networking.
mm,
So
yeah. When you found that people didn't know Luke, because I completely appreciate as a business owner, but also as a client, to see a face and then suddenly get another person to have to
yeah,
work with, that can be quite jolting. Did
yeah.
it matter to people that you were a married couple? Did that make sense or
I think it has made that
I think you
easier.
made it way easier. I thought it was going to be like, because when I've had it before where a couple have wanted to work with me and I was like, oh, I don't want to work with a boy. I think it's just because, no offense to men, but I'm a huge feminist, I
Yeah,
think. And
yeah.
I've been seeing a therapist about all these things, and I'm in a much better place. But
Mm,
even still now, I want a female therapist. It's just something about
yeah.
with a woman. I went on a ski
Okay.
trip and I had a massive hissy fit with a man. And as soon as I had a female ski instructor, I was
Mm,
really good. So I
And this is
think
only
this is
last
something
year.
bedded in me. Thanks. So,
okay, sure, sure.
but I love working with male clients. Like
Mm,
it's nothing with that, but I just think we both attract very
mm.
different people. But
People. Yeah.
it's never felt as a couple. I think it's actually been a bonus because I think people feel like, oh wow, it's
Mm,
a family-run
yeah,
business.
yeah,
And we're in each other's pockets as well. So like if you
yeah,
were to speak to me, Lily, and then I could refer it to Luke, he's
yeah.
only like
A
Yeah.
2 feet
Desk
away.
away. He's right
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's
Okay.
less jarring to be like, oh, it'll be like I'm doing the networking. It's
Mm,
much that does the day to
yeah,
day. You'll
yeah,
speak to him.
yeah.
Whereas beforehand, we've had like VAs helping and doing certain roles within that kind
Mm,
of the onboarding side of the business. So
mm,
I think it's
mm,
quite clear.
It's
mm.
And
become way less messy,
now
hasn't
it's
it?
much clearer.
Yeah.
Whereas
Yeah,
at the start, it was maybe a bit more,
yeah.
especially because I've been doing it and been a part of it a bit longer now. It's
Mm,
easier for people to
I think it's because you've grown
recognize.
through the ranks. Like, that
Yeah,
typical thing, like when we're
mm,
younger, they're like, you need to be an apprentice, you need to work your way
yeah,
up.
sure. Yeah.
Luke's done that in the last 3 years, and I think you've seen and had the experience all the way through, which I think is what's made it so
Mm,
much
yeah,
not
yeah.
easier because it's
yeah.
been a hard
That's
road
been a
between the
journey,
two of
yeah.
us, yeah, because we've
Yeah.
had to make balance with that as well as a couple.
Sure.
Because it
Yeah.
was hard for him to be my employee as such at the
Mm,
beginning and me
okay.
taking ownership. I'd noticed
Mm,
that did have a dynamic on our relationship for
Yeah,
a
it
long
did, yeah.
time. Yeah.
yeah. Can I know more about that? About that dynamic of w- wife and
Yeah.
employer, sorry. How was that new relationship?
I definitely became a little bit more controlling, I think. And that's so unintentional, but I think it was just
Mm, mm,
I wouldn't because I'd already made the mistakes and I felt
mm,
like Virtual Lottie was my
yeah,
baby at the time.
sure. Yeah.
I wouldn't give Luke the opportunities to make his
Mm,
own mistakes because we're all human. We all make mistakes. Like I've made plenty of
mm,
them. I still do as a 5 year business owner. Like we always do, right? Because there's
yeah.
so much new stuff going out all the time. We
Mm,
learn every day
mm,
as humans.
yeah.
But I think I was very tight knit in my
Mm,
fixed mindset, whereas I've had to
yeah.
really think having my own clients, Luke having
Mm,
his own clients, and then Luke taking over the admin and then me being the ambassador. also didn't help because I was also like, have you contacted this client? And it's like, well,
Yeah.
I'm doing this today, I'll do it tomorrow. And I'm like,
Okay.
no, it needs to be today. And it
Okay.
was kind of like that. Whereas now Luke does all the disco calls, he knows his flow, and there's much more,
Yeah.
would you say?
Even though before, like when I was kind of gradually taking over bits, there were clear divisions, but there were parts of either side of the fence that relied on the other side. And even though we had it kind of, and we discussed it and we planned it, there were times kind of like in any kind of working relationship, is this bit done yet? Oh
Grey
no,
areas.
it's happening,
Yeah.
or maybe something was missed. Whereas now it's very much church and state. There's kind of very little,
So good with metaphors.
very little sort of day-to-dayness you do. You've got a couple of like clients that you still look after,
Yeah,
and
now I do. I
and
miss
the
it.
the ambassador side of things. But other than that,
Which
it's
is pretty now. It's
it's
more you.
yeah, it's all very much kind of
It's like if Luke's away, for example, I'll go, oh, there's a wellness event. Can you do it? And he was like, no. And I was like, oh, and you actually said to me it'd be really good because I like wellness and stuff. So he was like, why don't you just go along? So I was like, okay. But yeah, it's been a long road,
yeah,
hasn't it?
Yeah.
especially because when I was kind of starting, it wasn't just me joining Lottie's business. I'd left teaching.
Yeah. Big jump.
I was I think there's a lot of people who do kind of like a normal job. When you hear
What do
people
you
work,
classify as
when
normal?
people are working from home,
Yeah.
like first day one, I was like,
Oh my God, it was
right,
so
I had all my
funny.
stuff to do, and I don't really. I now do use Google Calendar because just business life, but beforehand, much kind of free spirit
He
to
was
kind
a
of
bit.
just do whatever. And I was
You'd
like,
be
right,
working and he would go off, wouldn't you?
I'd be like, I'm going to go do the washing up, or maybe
Yeah.
make an elaborate lunch.
Luke,
I
it's
know.
10:15 in the morning. Where are you
And I'd
going?
be like, well, I'm working from home. Like, what are you talking
I'm
about?
gonna go cook
No.
And
lunch.
it's like, actually, if I'm not doing it very quickly, it was like,
Yeah.
oh, I seem to be busy in the evenings.
Yeah.
It's because I'm
Okay.
doing nothing in the morning because I'm making like,
I went,
Yeah.
would you do that teaching? And you went, no. And I'm like, then get back to your desk.
Yeah.
So like,
Okay. I
but
mean, the
that
boss is
was,
right here. Like,
yeah,
there's no slacking.
yeah,
Like, but I hear yourself too, Lottie, that
yeah,
to kind of have that role of kind of manager, which you were not, of course, prior to Luke coming into the business,
yeah,
and it can just shift the same dynamic into a
yeah,
romantic relationship. Like, it's
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
And it was kind
definitely.
of like both a knee-jerk reaction of me going, well, I just type like
But do you know
I
what?
go and
Thinking about it, I think it's because the only management role I've ever had was with 5-year-olds and a teaching assistant.
mm,
So I
mm,
immediately went into this like,
oh,
I
not in
would even say I
control.
reckon I was quite patronizing with it
you
potentially,
do, yeah.
intentionally. I
And
do
sometimes
go,
have a
I
primary
do have a
teacher.
yeah,
It comes out a little bit.
I do it with
I
my
get,
clients now, and I'm like, did you do your homework? And they're like, but that's the kind of
yeah,
clientele
Mm,
that really enjoy me. But like,
sure.
I
Yeah.
think, yeah, and and you're right. The thing is, Luke's never experienced being on his own as a business owner. And I think in my first year, I was still figuring out a routine, how it worked for me.
Yeah.
Like I didn't have someone that I could rely on. I didn't even have a
Mm,
coach. I didn't have anything.
yeah.
So I think I'd
Yeah.
made so many
yeah,
Yeah.
progressions, mistakes. And you kind of were
Yeah.
there as my husband watching it because I'd be working quite late
Mm,
nights and stuff. The
mm,
first year and a half, I was on my own. So
yeah.
kind of realized I couldn't just,
Yeah.
he would come home and he generally thought we had a flatmate and he generally thought that we'd both just be sat there all afternoon just doing
Mm,
nothing. I'm like,
oh,
no, but he'd get
oh,
pictures of me with our kitten. So he probably presumed that I was doing that.
oh, okay.
When
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And I
But
think
it's
also
go on, Luke.
when you start a business, typically you start off
Mm,
less busy and work
yeah.
hard to become busy. So you kind of
Yeah.
experience
that didn't happen.
and you learn. Oh, it happened
Okay.
quite to you, but you do kind of have that learning by going,
Yeah.
actually, I didn't do anything today. I've still got all this stuff to
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
Whereas in an employed role, you can kind of kick the can down the road a bit and
Yeah. Totally.
it kind of,
Totally.
yeah, you still get paid.
It's so you can't kick the can down the road as a business owner because
Yeah.
otherwise you're repeating the same mistakes. And I think the
Yeah.
one thing I definitely say has been amazing with the teaching for us is the reflections. Like
Mm,
we reflect weekly and
yeah.
quarterly to make
Yeah.
sure that
And
that I think that's how it's grown so
Yeah.
quickly.
yeah, I definitely want to talk about those kind of like family slash business meetings and if they're the same or different for you both. But what a thing, I suppose, for yourself, Lottie, to start a business. and then, I mean, steep learning curve for everybody, and then to have a hire or a member of staff, Luke, here, because I mean, I've been now in business for 10 years, and it's always been by myself. And I think if one day I ever had a member of staff, I think I would then learn all of those,
Yeah.
all of the mistakes then. And for me, it would just be 10 years in, and for you, it was a matter of months. How was it in communication and your relationship to almost go, okay, Lottie, like with all the love, like not
Yeah.
micromanaging. How was that?
It
How did it
was,
change?
to be fair, Luke didn't come on till the first year, after the first
It was
year.
about 18 months in, I
Yeah.
think, more or
And I
less.
already had about 6 to 8 subcontractors
Wow.
by that point. I'd
Ah,
already built it because I just got to the
yeah.
point where I was like, go all in.
Wow.
Why not? So I'd already
Mm.
had the subcontractor side, but those
Mm.
subcontractors also potentially were quite new. So,
Yeah.
and I had my way of doing things because,
Yeah.
of course,
Yeah.
I'm just me. And
Mm.
and I also think it's your brand, isn't it? You know, if someone work for
Yeah.
you, you want them to be delivering
It's your
the values
name.
that you give
Yeah.
massively. You
Mm.
mentioned communication. That is probably
Mm.
like my biggest value, and Luke knows this
Mm. Mm.
inwardly and outwardly, personally, as well as in business.
Yeah.
And I think I just made it really crystal clear. And I was
Mm.
micromanaging at the beginning, and then slowly I started to
Mm.
let things, but I noticed if I let something slip, trusting in someone,
Mm.
it would always eventually. So I always felt, do you know what? I've never take on beginners again. It would just be experienced people.
Okay.
You with
Mm.
Luke. I mean,
Mm.
you meant to do engagement. Think
Yeah, I was
about it.
coming in
All you
just
did
to
was
kind of do,
media
yeah. But
Mm.
then it kind
Mm.
of
grew.
grew quite quickly, yeah. And I
Yeah.
think also what maybe compounded the
Mm.
kind of not
Do you know what it was?
because
You came on in July. We moved out of our
we were
house
moving
in
out of the house
August.
to the
We got married.
August. That was the year
Oh,
before.
thank God.
Okay.
But there's a lot of we were like
It's a blur.
because we were
Wow.
planning to go traveling, so we were getting our house ready
Mm.
to rent out,
Within
Mm.
2 months of Luke
packing
moving
away
in.
everything. I
Yeah.
didn't have my summer days just
Yeah.
as a teacher as a
Busy,
sacred
busy
time.
time. Super
And
busy
then
I
time.
took him to Lapland in January. He
anyway,
went out there, so I kind of did save your
yeah.
summer.
But then as we'd start, then in that September we went traveling and we'd pre-booked
Mm.
I love how I
the
said I took
first.
you.
We pre-booked the six
You can
months.
tell who's the boss, can't
Yeah,
you?
it's like it's her house as well.
Stay in my room.
My room, my house,
I was
my
speaking to my
cat.
mum the other day, and she turned around and said, like, my stepdad was like, you know, you always say it's my room when actually it's ours. Like, I pay for it too. And we were both like,
Mm.
Yeah, and
Oops.
it's a wedding as or was it a wedding? But yeah,
Mm.
then as we'd gone traveling, we'd booked ourselves to move around, I think, quite ambitiously
Mm.
compared to so there was all of these different things changing at the same time, which made it
Mm.
a lot of challenges
a
and a
lot
lot,
harder to,
Yeah.
especially then kind of I was taking on more
yeah.
responsibility while all these things were happening. It kind of,
Honestly,
Mm.
divorced, it would have happened in those first 6 months when we moved
Mm.
abroad
Yeah,
because,
your relationship was so tested.
yeah,
And so many new things coming in, you know.
yeah.
Uh.
And I think even historically, when we'd been kind of going out for like a year, we met doing a TEFL course, and then about a year in, we moved to Europe to teach English. So we
Mm.
were kind of then worked at the
you know
same
what it already showed. That
same
first
language
year in
academy.
Germany.
Yeah, we're in the same
Yeah.
language academy in a
Mm.
place that not many people spoke English. So I think
Okay.
it kind of and we were in our early 20s then, early
Yeah, and I ended
20s.
up managing that as well.
Yeah.
Like, it just seems to be, I think it's my mum's fault, but
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Like,
Mm.
I think because we've been together like almost 11 years, but I definitely
Mm.
would agree that
Mm.
that I would say that year abroad was the biggest tester because it was
Mm.
eating,
Mm.
working, gym,
No
family,
routine.
Yeah.
no routine.
Yeah. I mean,
We
this is
had a
business
financial,
life. Like
yeah.
Yeah.
that describes it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
luckily now I
Mm.
found coming back because we came back and we're like, right, what didn't work, what did? How are we
Mm.
to make sure
Okay.
that our dynamics, making sure that we have a healthy relationship? Because I think
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
my relationship with Luke is way more important than my business. I
Okay.
could start again tomorrow if I
Mm.
really had to. We've always said
Okay.
that, haven't we? Plan Z, we could always start again.
Yeah.
Mm.
100%. And
Mm.
I think, and we realized that about 4 months. to 6 months into that travel trip, we were like, actually, we need to do the latter half of this year in a different way, and kind of
Yeah.
we put in more kind of like
Because it knocked
structure.
both our confidence, didn't it?
Yeah, we then
Yeah.
put in structured like business protocol, I guess, to
Okay,
have
yeah.
things in a certain way. We made some changes to how we communicate within the business.
Also hired a coach. I think
Yeah,
that also
that helped as
helped
well.
as
Okay,
well.
yeah. How did the
Yeah, I
coach
think
help? What can I know more about that with this
yeah, yeah,
coach?
yeah. She was like a marketing
A
coach.
business and marketing coach.
The ways that we work at the beginning of our business, you know,
Mm,
the rates that we had, our rates were really low. So we had,
mm,
I reckon, about 15 clients between the two of us.
yeah,
We
yeah.
weren't earning a lot.
Sure, sure.
And I think it was like, it was just having a more CO mindset, realizing
Mm,
that we were living to work rather than
mm, mm,
the other way around. Does that
yeah.
make sense? Did
Yeah,
I say it right?
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, and it got to a point where we were practically in survival mode and we're both just
Mm,
like taking on work. At
yeah.
one point, we had a couple of clients leave, no fault of us, like
Mm,
change of routine, or they
mm,
decided to sell their business or something. And
mm,
we sat there going, okay, we can't keep just taking on
yeah.
low cost. This just isn't working anymore.
Okay, sure.
Ways that I obviously found clients was very fortunate at the beginning. It was
Mm,
like, I, but the social media had changed so much in
I
this
was
couple
gonna
of years.
say,
So we invested in a like a business slash marketing coach, didn't we?
mm,
For
mm.
like a year and a half.
about a year and a half. Yeah,
Yeah, and
Oh,
that kind
great,
of,
yeah.
it was also nice because then I wasn't
Mm,
taking responsibility. I felt like I was,
yeah.
it was like 51-49. I was taking more responsibility of
Mm,
bringing in the clients. And when the clients
mm,
were coming in, I felt like I was failing us. And you kind of felt that way at
mm.
some point as well, didn't you?
yeah, especially because I was doing a lot
Sure.
of the client work. So if someone were to leave
You
for
felt
Okay,
it.
if it was
sure.
like
Whatever
either
reason.
way, it was kind of
Yeah,
yeah. And I think because at the same time we were full
yeah.
time digital nomading, but because
Mm,
we were moving so
okay,
quickly, it would be like, cool,
yeah.
we want to go to this country to go to this island. We'd
Mm,
get we'd be like, we've booked 4 days here, but it's
You've got to
Tuesday to
work.
Friday, and it's like we've
Mm,
got meetings on all
yeah,
of those days, both
yeah,
of us. So it was like
yeah.
come,
The
we've
work.
rented our house, we've come all the way to some
Mm,
island and have to
Yeah, we
stay here,
did enjoy it.
and then you'd be
mm,
like
work.
in
Yeah.
like a really difficult
You felt
position.
like
Well,
you were,
a
Yeah.
difficult position is
no,
maybe a
it
bit
sounds a little
first
bit
world
like,
problem.
I know,
Mm,
but what happened was we'd
mm,
feel guilty if we were working. We felt what guilty working, not
yeah,
traveling.
I'm
And
with
I'm not
you.
joking. I remember in New Zealand, I was up doing a 2 a.m. meeting in the camper
Mm,
In a car
yeah,
park, in the car park of the supermarket to get some Wi-Fi.
yeah. Oh,
and then we'd be like passed out in car parks and
Yeah.
stuff just
So
because
yeah,
we're so
that
tired.
happened in the
yeah,
pre-booked.
Yeah,
Then we were like,
because we
actually,
thought we could handle it.
yeah. I think we
yeah.
booked it with the when we'd both traveled separately in our kind of very early 20s. I think we'd
Mm,
booked it assuming even
We had the
partly
same
working, we
energy.
had the same engine as the
yeah.
early
Okay.
20s, an unemployed early 20s person, and doing
Mm,
kind of early mid 30s running a
yeah,
fairly new business was
yeah. Okay.
think we nailed it in the second half of the year. We stayed in places for
Yeah.
longer. We
Yeah,
put business things in place, which I
Mm,
think comes from the
slowed
teaching.
down.
We just slowed the hell down. Yeah.
Now we're
right.
still trying to pull ourselves back. You know, when
Okay.
you go into that survival mode and your nervous system is so
Mm,
high, it's
yeah.
so easy
Yeah.
just to rush things. And we're both just like, I think
Mm,
again, we just need to remind ourselves to slow down because we've
mm,
had such a lovely, I
mm.
would say, year and a half now since we've come back. It's not even been that long. I think
Okay.
it's just
Yeah. This is recent.
years. It feels really long ago now, but it's
Oh,
really lovely that it
yeah.
wasn't. And actually, in the last year and a half, although it's gone really fast, I probably have more lovely memories here. And
Mm,
we've gone on 9
Done
holidays
lots of kind of like
the last year.
work-free
mm,
trips.
yeah.
Um,
That hasn't impacted clients. We've had less clients leave
Mm,
before, touch wood.
okay.
Everyone's really happy, and we've got a
Yeah.
way better clientele, like half
Yeah.
of the clients, better
Yeah.
rates. We're in such a healthier
Mm,
position. I can even take time now to do hobbies or
mm,
go and see a counselor to
yeah.
support me in a separate,
Mm,
he's
yeah.
supportive, but it's always nice to talk to someone separately. And
Yeah.
we're both kind of
Totally.
finding ourselves a little bit again, aren't we?
yeah,
Our
I
own
think so.
independence, which we didn't really have
Yeah.
before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's huge testimony of how much of a difference and how substantial it is to actually feel secure and happy and healthy and rested, and then business
Yeah,
thrives. And it might feel like a paradox, because I know I go, don't stop, like keep working,
yeah,
because otherwise the business is going to suffer. And the exact opposite is true.
Yeah,
Like,
100%. I think if you're happy, healthy, and kind of
mm,
going to the gym or reading or
mm,
eating well, whatever it is that you kind of try to,
yeah,
which of the boxes you try to tick, if you're ticking them,
yeah,
then you feel so much better going into business, make
yeah,
decisions from a kind of a place of
mm,
consideration rather than just that
yeah,
one.
gonna lie, it's hard sometimes because, there is a
mm,
never-ending list of things that you can do. But
yeah,
you've also got to
yeah,
remind yourself, like, this week,
yeah,
the last 6 weeks, we've been working really hard because we got stuck
mm,
in India during like the war happening
mm,
and stuff, so we didn't get
yeah,
home. So we've kind of been having to bring back a couple of things, like
mm,
we've had to pause a few things and bring it back. So
mm,
we've had a lot of work that we've been doing. We've had a few late nights, and I call like late nights maybe 7 o'clock at night, but we start at like
okay,
9, maybe
yeah,
8.
yeah,
But this week in particular, we've
mm,
got back to that normal routine of starting at 9,
mm, mm,
finishing by 5:30, and oh my
yeah,
gosh, the
big
difference.
difference.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
already feel like
yeah,
we're like, one
yeah,
point we were sat there, we just had dinner at like 6, which we've been having dinner at 7 or 8 the last few weeks. So I'm
mm,
saying like, we had a really good routine, we kind of messed up a little bit, but you always
yeah,
do, don't you, come back
yeah,
to it. And we
yeah,
had so much free time in the afternoon, in the evening, we're both like, what do we do now?
Yeah,
I
it felt
know.
like so much more time because we'd kind of shut down
Mm,
on more normal time.
But
yeah,
you start to work at 10 a.m. now on a Monday.
Yeah, I
Have you started
started having a later start on a Monday.
slow
mm,
morning on a Monday is really
Really
good.
nice. Early
yeah,
finish on
yeah.
Friday.
Because I suppose this being a family business, would you describe it as another member of the family? The how the business ups and downs, the family does too, or
It did.
Yeah, I think it
It
was
was
quite linked to us,
too linked.
but I
I think
mm,
we
think
separated it
yeah,
so much.
and I think especially because there were so many things changing in
Yeah,
mm,
that
too
in
much.
that sort of 6 to 7 months when just
yeah,
coming to the business and away. And I think now, because we're more settled and because of that kind of more kind of
mm,
tumultuous time, we put things in place to kind of
mm,
keep it.
Even just changing the work phone. When we were
Yeah.
in New Zealand,
mm,
personal phone was the work phone. So people
mm,
were WhatsApping and I could see it.
And
yeah,
because 8
yeah,
hours, well, New Zealand was like 13 hours, but we spent most of the time in sort of Southeast Asia. So we were sort of 6 to 8 hours
mm,
in the future. So people
mm,
would still be working in the
yeah,
UK
Yeah.
when
yeah,
we signed off to go to a night
mm,
market. So we'd wake up, well, Lottie
mm,
would wake up to message all of the work messages coming through on her phone.
yeah,
So it was quite like wake up straight
Yeah.
into
Never
straight
turned
into
it
it.
off.
Yeah.
And
whereas,
it still hits me now, doesn't it? Like social media,
Mm,
I've
mm,
removed it from my work personal phone because we work on
yeah,
it daily.
yeah,
It became a habit of looking on the weekends. Like every now and again, I do say, Luke, can I just borrow your phone? Because he's in it still. Because it doesn't really bother you, does it?
I'm quite good at just ignoring
Yeah,
okay,
notifications and stuff. I'm okay.
but
I'm okay
okay,
with
it's odd. It was Virtual Lottie and the coaching were part, like it was
mm,
attached, wasn't it? But
it. Yeah.
now
mm,
it's so nice. And I think because as soon as the laptop's closed and we've kind of on a come down,
mm,
you just write all your
yeah,
notes out of your
yeah,
brain. If anything does come through, we'll just
mm,
quickly email. So then it's gone
yeah,
straight to our inbox. So then it's out of our
okay,
brains. We really do try and keep it
Yeah.
disattached.
Yeah.
right,
Even if
yeah,
it's like in a lunch break, so it's kind of still technically during work or
mm,
the
mm,
weekend or whatever. If we're having an idea, it's email
mm,
it to ourselves. So then
okay,
when we've got our work hat on the
yeah,
next time we're at the desk, it can be processed and
Yeah.
dealt with in a, whereas beforehand it would be like we'd come up with an idea and discuss it, and then you can
mm,
have more
When we went
ideas
to New
and
Zealand,
you're what do we do with it? And then we'd like
yeah,
look it to each other on our personal
mm,
WhatsApp chat, and then we tried doing
mm,
like
we
WhatsApp
had a
group.
VA. Do you remember? We had a VA when we were in New Zealand, and we'd be driving along. We'd be listening to a podcast, like a
mm,
business podcast as well. So
Yeah,
mm,
our brains never turned off. So we were like,
yeah,
this idea, this idea.
yeah,
Honestly, I felt like, and we were constantly on
amazing.
coffee because we weren't sleeping very much. We were driving like
Mm,
7 hours to get to the next city. It was
mm,
mental.
yeah, you guys,
But
busy life. So you will email to each other. So after say 5 or 6 or however long, does kind of business talk stop? Is it soft rule? No?
I
yeah,
think every now and again it does pop up. I am a
Okay.
massive culprit for this,
Okay.
but I've also said to Luke, like, hold me accountable as well as myself.
Yeah. And
Okay.
it's definitely helped to be,
We are so much better. Like I reckon this is like 10%. Like
yeah.
it's so much
And
better now.
and even like getting ready for bed or brushing your teeth or whatever, and you go,
Mm.
oh, did I email? Did I do that? Did I do this? Just now
Yeah.
email, because I used to like when I was teaching, my hands and arms would be covered in notes for
Mm.
myself that I'd inevitably
Yeah.
just ignore anyway. But now I send
Mm.
it as an email, so it's
Yeah.
actually in a, I can't avoid an email. Well, I mean I can, but
Mm.
it's
Yeah.
it stays there. Whereas if you're leaving
Sure.
notes elsewhere, so it works to kind of log an idea
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
kind of you can let go of it and kind of chill out.
Okay.
We
Yeah.
used to also have like we used to have weekly meetings with
Mm.
our clients and stuff,
Yeah.
whereas now we only come with anything that maybe we just need a little bit of like reassurance on.
Yeah, or kind of, yeah,
And
getting
Okay.
something checked or a fresh perspective.
and then we just
Um,
spend the other time of it just reflecting together to be like, how was your
Mm.
week? Was
yeah,
there
Mm.
anything maybe you could have done better that way? That
Okay.
I feel like can actually be every other
I
week
think it
now.
is now. I think we changed it last
Okay.
week.
Yeah,
Again, we're kind of,
improving.
we originally just had one meeting a week, and it was basically at the start, it was for Lottie to tell me what things I needed to do to support her.
Mm. Uh-huh.
Then,
Uh-huh.
then as I started doing more things, it was like, because that was my role at the time, it was
Yeah.
basically like to be her PA slash
Yeah.
doer of the work. So
Yeah.
then we kept that for quite a long time, actually, even though the roles had changed a lot. We were
Mm.
like, we're doing this meeting, and
Mm.
Just didn't
it
realise,
still
did we? Because it
exists.
was just
The
routine as
document
well.
still exists, and it's just there's
Yeah.
hundreds of bullet points on there of like ideas and
Ideas
stuff.
and
Sure.
stuff.
Then it was like this, it's not fit for purpose. So over the past, I'd
Okay.
say
I'd
since
say
we've been
6 months, because
6
like I
months,
said, we've only just really started. We slowed down in the last year and a half to be
Mhm.
kind in our relationship. Like
Mm.
our
yeah,
relationship has
to
definitely
like put
been.
us first,
Mm.
and then
Okay.
we've got these different meetings, and now they're much shorter,
More
less frequent,
strategic.
and it's very much on a Friday morning.
Yeah.
There's half an hour to review the week,
Yeah.
any questions, queries, things to
Check
review,
in.
things
Yeah.
to be
And we
excited
do like
about.
1 month business call.
Yeah.
And now you having you
Mm.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm doing a launch at the moment because Lottie's done
7.
more of them for her second business. Even though I've helped with those, now Lottie's coaching me, and we have a
Mm.
separate one-to-one coaching time, like Lottie would with one of her
Mm.
clients.
Yeah.
Run
Okay.
it, and the dynamic in that call
Yeah.
most of the time is
Mm.
I'm the client, you're the
Yeah,
coach.
it's a very
Okay.
different
Because
hat.
the
So I think
first,
that's really helped as well. I think because
yeah,
now I'm coming in to go,
Mm.
how are things going with your launch?
and you
Where
come in
are
with a
you?
different mindset of rather like
Mm.
almost seeing the stuff that I'm doing as a complete third
Mm.
party, trying
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
influence it rather than trying to fix it from or
Yeah.
I'm
to
so
help
attached to Virtual Lottie. It's
from
been
the
quite nice.
from the
Yeah.
inside.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
really helped to be
Will
of
will
yours.
you be able to spot when the other person is in, say, CEO role or like wifey mode? Can you tell when
You
what
have to
headspace?
communicate it. I think sometimes we have to turn around and go, do you want husband? Do you want CEO?
Mm-hmm.
What do
Yeah,
you
Mm.
want?
especially when
Mm.
we try to do a couple of walks a day around the block or around
Mm.
the roads nearby, and that's
Mm.
kind of like our time to be
Mm.
colleagues almost. So not
Like
Okay.
just random,
necessarily
like when you used to have a cigarette around the block when you were a kid, like when you were like
a kid.
18, 19. I know, kid, that'd be so bad.
Yeah, when
And
you're
I'm in our early 20s, we both worked at different corporate
like
roles,
call
and you could
center
just go for a
stuff.
cigarette and rant with your staff. We kind of just do that now. It's I
Yeah,
didn't realise it actually is quite natural. We both just go out and go, oh,
Mm.
it's really annoying. And sometimes we'll turn around and go, do you know what? My co-director was really annoying today. Like we
Oh,
kind of,
go.
we
Wink,
kind of
wink.
yeah,
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
then
But it
get
was
that
really lovely.
space, or to be like, oh, this is going on. I'm a bit stressed about
Mm.
this particular
Yeah.
thing happening, and then it's like,
Yeah.
do you want a husband or do you want
Mm.
co-director? Do you want like the business
Okay.
perspective to be like,
Which one do
well,
you
the
want?
whole thing being quite considered, or do
Yeah.
you want the kind of like, no, you're completely in the right. They sound like you need
Okay.
to.
We've
Yeah.
definitely had to learn roles. And I mentioned before about my biggest value is communication. And I think
Mm.
that's definitely something we're constantly working on because I think it makes it easier for me and for you,
Yeah,
Mm.
100%.
especially
Mm.
with roles and being partnered.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
kind of really having very clear lines, even though we had the lines.
Responsibilities as well.
Yeah, and I think now
Mm.
we have the processes
Mm.
to back that up because at the start we had you're doing X, Y, Z, you're doing A, B,
Mm.
C, but we didn't
Mm.
have the
Oh,
systems. We had the
okay.
systems for client work and for
Yeah.
team, but we didn't
Yeah.
have the systems to deal internally with what
Mm.
happens if this doesn't happen or where, do
Okay.
you know what I mean, to kind of how to
Mm.
communicate between us,
Yeah.
keeping husband and wife and
Mm.
co-director separate. I
Mm.
think now we've got so much better at
Mm.
doing.
Okay. Almost a bit like a business kind of handbook of kind of
Yeah,
the
it'd be cool
ways
if we
that we do
actually did
things around
have.
here, kind of
Yeah,
thing.
Yeah,
Um,
because it's definitely made a big difference to
mm.
both sides of the
Mm.
coin, I think.
Mm. Yeah.
I think we both come in now with a fresh mindset for one another as well,
Mm.
rather than both of us being in the same
Mm.
business all the time. So it's
Okay.
been nice to have a
Mm.
client again.
Yes. I mean, tell me more about this because Lottie, you have your other business, and I
Yeah,
am curious to know what this is as well as how it's kind of changed the family dynamic and also Virtual Lottie.
yeah.
How is it to have kind of stepped away a wee bit?
I did miss it, but now I'm back in it. I'm like, oh, I remember why I left. I'm
Mm.
joking.
Okay.
No, Lou's kind of like left me to it. So when I started the other business about 2 years ago now, it's
Two
coming up.
years ago.
Yeah,
Wow.
anniversary.
Mm.
And my cousin was already into coaching. She was like a marketing coach. And I felt like I wasn't ready at the time. But one of my experiences is being a teacher and running Virtual Lottie and an agency, which at the time there weren't that many of us. So
Mm.
we originally weren't, I wasn't even going to do it. So we had created this Facebook group, which now has like almost 4,000 members.
Mm.
But at the time, we only brought it in so we could bring on associates for Virtual
Yeah.
Lottie.
Mm.
And Luke came up with the name, the UKVA Cafe. And
Okay.
yeah,
UKVA
and
Cafe.
the
Great.
UKVA Cafe, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just,
Yeah.
it was there for us to find virtual assistants or social media managers to support us with our business. And
Okay.
then a couple of people just kept asking me questions, and I was like, hmm. And then a girl offered me a power hour. So I did it
Yeah.
on like an hourly rate at the beginning. And then it's
Yeah.
slowly but surely I started
Mm.
getting more in. And I was like, oh, I could do this as an extra income.
Mm.
And then as the months progressed, I basically sat down
Mm.
with my cousin and went, look, I'm thinking about doing this. And she went, no, just go all in on a group coaching program. And then,
Okay.
Just when we just brought on the other coach that we talked about earlier, who was
Okay.
like, yeah, just go for it. Like, why wait? Just
I'm
like
not,
messy
yeah.
action, just get stuck in.
I'm not
Okay.
someone who's afraid of a challenge. And I was also just like, to be fair, if I did it on a beta phase and I was
Mm.
creating the classes and doing
Mm.
the lives, I could build it over time and then make it better.
Mm.
So I gave it to them
Mm.
at a really good rate. I
Mm-hmm.
got like a couple of people on, but luckily Luke and I, the
Mm.
objective was to get the first clients. These were like brand new VAs as well. And
Mm.
what was really nice was, as I mentioned, we used to teach classes, like we would know what
Yeah.
the objective is at the end. So
Yeah.
really easy to create a 12-week
I bet.
course.
I bet.
It didn't take us long at all. And then
Yeah.
it's slowly built from there. So it's been around for like 2 years
Mm.
now. I don't have more than like 10 or 15 girls at once in my group coaching program. I've got like
Okay.
less than 20 clients on that
Mm.
side, but
Yeah.
it's been it's
Mm.
now my baby because I do like
Mm.
memberships,
Mm.
one-to-one group. I
Mm.
really want to do a mastermind
Mm.
potentially.
Mm.
And it's just been nice to have my own income
Yeah.
because when you're sharing one
Mm.
business, you're
Mm.
halving your wage.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
when we got together and did it,
Yeah.
it wasn't
Yeah.
any pocket money anymore. It was cut in half. So all of
Yeah.
a sudden it was like, oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a different, and because we were then like living
Mm.
whilst moving, it was
mm,
like there was
Mm.
more, although you weren't spending money on going to Lidl or on rent
Yeah.
necessarily, but it was
Sure.
kind of, yeah, it was a bit of a
Yeah.
change.
it was a change because I think you're also entrusting someone with your business
Mm.
at the
Mm.
time. And
Mm.
also, we even signed co-directorship. Like I'd taken all my assets and given
Mm.
Luke
Yeah.
the, and that could really mess up a relationship.
Sure. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
also like we both were on
Mm.
not a lot, even
Mm.
if you were on 5K, that's two
Mm.
and a half K each. That's not a lot between two
Yeah.
people. And we
Sure,
got to the point
sure.
where we're both like, we're coming back to the UK. I
Mm,
really need to think about how I'm going to make money. And we're
mm,
both sharing clients and stuff. So we just got to the
mm,
point where I was like, do you know what? I'm going to try and give this a go. So I kind of went
mm.
part-time on the coaching at the time. And it was
Okay.
only January this year.
Last
Can
year.
you know it's this year that we made the full decision that you were going to do the networking, you were going to do all
Mm.
of it.
You're right. No, because I started. I think it was January before.
Was it?
Hmm.
You sure?
Yeah, 'cause we're
Still
doing
pretty
it.
recent though, not
Yeah,
even
Yeah,
18
no.
months.
yeah, yeah,
No, we're very much, and we're very fortunate because
Mm,
of like, I think just because we've been running it and stuff, and yeah, it
mm,
just grew from there. So as soon as I started giving
mm,
Luke more responsibility,
mm.
taking less ownership,
Okay.
it's
Yeah.
it,
the difference. It was
Yeah.
this year because of cappuccino. I
Yeah.
think I signed up to them in December this year.
yeah. You're right.
You're welcome. So it was only 6 months
Mm,
ago that I officially handed in the full towel
mm.
to Luke. And then about a couple of months ago, we were talking about, I was like, oh, I really miss having a client. And Luke was like, okay. So I now have two of
Mm.
my clients as a VA again because I just felt like I needed to still be relatable to the
Sure.
coaching
Yeah.
side, but also just like in general. So
Yeah.
yeah,
But it's been really game changing. It's made a big impact in terms of virtual Lottie as well as your relationship. I'm understanding kind of in both ways.
Yeah, I think
your
it.
confidence has grown.
Yeah, I think because then it was
Mm,
because everything was mine. I think
mm,
it was probably 95% before.
Last year you struggled because I think it was just a big jump
Yeah,
to be on your own.
and then
mm,
having everything as mine,
mm,
then it's kind of easier because it's all kind of
mm,
all the systems already set up.
mm.
It's it's then
Yeah.
quite easy to fully take ownership and be like
Yeah.
because you
Yeah.
have to think of everything. You do think of
Yeah.
everything. Whereas if there's even like a little bit
Mm,
of process or a little bit of sign off
mm,
or something from someone else, you kind
mm.
of maybe not consciously, but kind of goes
Yeah.
the bits you can kind of be a bit vague on. Whereas
Yeah.
To be fair, I don't even know the onboarding system anymore. Like I brought on a client and used my
Go
old
back that.
spreadsheet manually because
Mm,
I don't think you were
I
available
think I might
at
be
the
not.
time. I
Yeah,
have told him to create
mm.
it.
it doesn't
Okay.
exist in
Sure.
a us.
Well, that just shows that it's not clear. So, oh, you didn't get an associate onboarding contract then, but he does check on me. He'll be like, "How is this client L as the director?"
Mm,
So,
yeah.
like I said, constantly reflecting and building
Yeah.
on. But yeah, I don't even know the
Mm,
onboarding anymore because it's all his domain. So when I brought on a
yeah.
client, I was like, "Oh, what am I doing now?"
Yeah,
It's
sure.
like,
But
Yeah,
it also sounds like, I mean, real confidence to actually have more ownership. And I don't mean legal governance ownership, but just
no,
to be in charge of something.
yeah,
Even though I
100%.
really hear that there's full support from everybody for yourself too, Lottie, that I imagine is a real magic source to have everybody, the whole family, in and supporting. Um, Thank you so much for sharing these things.
Right.
I was
Perhaps,
going to say maybe your purpose as well because I think you lost your purpose a
A
little
little
bit.
bit, yeah. I think being able to fully,
Because teaching was yours. You
yeah.
yeah,
had your own team, you had your staff,
yeah,
you had people, then you were getting on with them really well. And I know the first year was a bit lonely for you.
yeah,
Mm,
stepping because it's like a hyper social job teaching. It's kind of you're kind of
yeah.
performing to when you're
Mm,
teaching, and then behind the
mm,
prep scene, you're kind of
Yeah.
with everyone else who you're in the trenches with.
yeah.
Um,
I
Yeah.
think it was nice for you to take, you have your own business now,
yeah,
really. You've got your own purpose.
yeah,
I think
which
you
is
lost
nice.
that.
And I think when with having the two separate businesses as well, there's
Mm,
if I want to take some time off or have an afternoon off or do
Yeah.
this,
mm.
then
You
less.
can.
You don't almost have to coordinate as much when you're
Yeah.
both in the same business.
Mm,
It's like,
yeah.
well, I'm going to take this bit of time off, but then if it doesn't
Yeah.
line up, you kind of almost need
Mm,
to cover. Whereas you can kind of keep it more
mm,
separate, and obviously less reliant on
mm.
Yeah.
income and stuff. So
Yeah.
it's like
This
if there's a
too.
slower sales month either side or
Yeah.
anything kind of happening, there's more
Mm,
more of
Yeah.
a buffer. There's I guess there's less
Yeah.
eggs in
yeah. Totally.
more basket. Well, I don't know.
Okay. Yeah.
What's
Maybe
be
more of
really
a
nice
spread.
though is that we rely only on virtual lottery money. So all the money that we earn there is just all put away,
Mm,
isn't it? We
mm,
don't touch it. So I
Yeah,
think it's just been
mm.
really nice to
which is
just
kind of the
Yeah.
setup we have with teaching. We basically
Mm,
teaching wage covered
yeah.
that was happening, especially at the start of Virtual Lottie. We worked out because we had a housemate at the time. It was like we've got six, I think it was about 4 months
Yeah.
to try and make it work.
Yeah, I had
Yeah.
And
4
it was
months to
like,
make it work.
so we kind of adjusted the budget to basically have one income was
Mm.
our survive like our
Yeah.
life money, and the other one would then be bonus stuff.
I feel like
Yeah.
this podcast is about us as a couple, not the business, and we've kind of just gone
No.
like,
You're okay. You're okay. Because I guess it is meaningful that this business is also a big part of your family and your relationship. And I
yeah,
feel like it's really something that can be said for kind of micro family businesses when everybody's involved. That as you said, Luke, all the eggs are in one basket. And it almost can feel like you really need to cradle this thing. And other people and relationships can kind of fall aside until maybe the business is now grown and really developed, and then the relationships are way back where and haven't really been looked at for maybe a couple years.
yeah, I definitely feel like we're doing a return of investment in our personal life now.
Yeah. I think we're kind of enjoying the
The
and
flexibility.
where we've been able to
Mm.
get to. I think especially kind of being back at home with our
Mm.
cats, getting more of a routine, kind of
Mm.
doing at the house a
Go on
bit, getting a
holiday.
bit more settled is
Yeah.
definitely more in line with kind of where we
Mm.
are as
Got
people
you.
now. I
Yeah,
think we'd looked forward for so long because we were gonna. The whole point of doing the formal teaching qualification was to go and teach in
Mm.
international schools and continue to like work and travel. So then
Mm.
we kind of kept that dream alive with the
Mm.
businesses. And then
Mm.
I
Yeah.
think
I still prefer this.
we definitely
Do
worked
you?
out, I think for us, like
Mm.
I said, we did the first 6 months wrong. We did the second six
Mm.
months much better.
Do you prefer it now?
But
Of being at
yeah, I'm really liking being fixed,
He loves
being at
working from
home.
home. He has a
Yeah.
nappuccino.
Yeah, pretty much. I have every day
I'm
this
not
week.
every day this week he's gone, I'm gonna go for a nap. So he'll like take a
Mm.
shot of coffee. So he'll after
Okay.
this, we'll have lunch and he'll
Coffee
have
and then a nap.
and a nap. And
Yeah,
I'll
Wow. Don't know how
20
you
minute
do
nap,
it.
and then it's the perfect amount of time where it kind of just clears my head. I'm like, right. Otherwise, I'm
Okay.
quite sluggish after lunch, so I'm kind of
Okay.
working, but not very
Mm.
efficiently, and which annoys
Mm.
me. So I'm like, actually, if I have that 20 minutes out,
Yeah.
come back down,
Yeah.
and I can
Totally.
actually attack stuff again, which is nice.
Yeah. Sure.
I
Oh,
get proper FOMO if I nap in the day. I'm like, oh my
okay.
God, I've got so much time. And
Yeah.
I get groggy, whereas you are just, it's so funny to watch. He's like, right, I'm gonna go for my nap. And I'm like, all right, 60-year-old.
Sure.
That's
But
nice. Oh my God.
different ways of working,
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. Like
Exactly.
2 years ago, I would be like,
Yeah.
but now
Okay.
it's like, yeah,
Mm.
so
Yeah.
much. I feel so
Takes
much more
time.
trust in you.
Got you. Well, on this note, to wrap up the podcast, maybe a few quick fire questions from me.
Mm.
I want to ask if you had one message to send to other couples and families who are in business who might be struggling in terms of the relationship, or maybe earning money, maybe the business is in an early years, or maybe it's not. What would that message be to them?
I think what's worked well for us was developing ways to communicate about
Mm.
either thing. And obviously, you
Mm.
can't actually keep them separate 100% because there
Sure.
will be some kind of bleed between the two. But
Mm.
kind of trying to come up with ways, I mean, it's taken us a little while,
No, I
but
was laughing because of your metaphor. Bleed in a
Yeah.
couple.
yeah.
It's so good. Yeah.
I would say that. I think
So
you and
good.
I, we clearly have the same networking style. I was,
Yeah,
I was like, bleed.
yeah. I'm like, oh, well done there.
Yeah, I think getting
Mm,
probably the only way is through trial and error to find ways to communicate
mm,
and manage
yeah.
both situations in
Mm,
appropriate ways. I mean, you don't want to be having
mm,
necessarily meetings about
mm,
your personal, or actually the way you asked me to do the dishes earlier was a bit
mm.
passive aggressive. Could you not
Okay.
just kind of doing that in a more normal way, but then the business
Okay.
stuff kind of having it in that
Mm,
kind of way, I think
mm,
a
mm,
better, well, it's how we've managed to work it out.
Before
Okay.
you to eat before you talk. Because
To
I,
eat before you
mm,
talk.
yeah, that's probably my biggest thing because we
Mm.
both get hungry. And
Yeah.
actually, I think
Okay.
if your emotions are
Yeah.
high,
Yeah.
take 5 or 10 minutes before having a discussion or
Yeah.
send them an
Okay.
email and put it into Claude and say, put this politely. Like,
Okay.
at the end of the day, there will be times when you're frustrated, but it's not at
Mm,
the person. And always
yeah.
remind them of. I think
Yeah.
that's one thing we're
Yeah.
really good at. It's like it's not you,
Yeah.
it's the situation, and
Yeah.
we're
Yeah.
always really good at that.
Yeah. And I think kind of when we
Okay.
have, because we've had our business meetings in the calendar, you go
Mm,
into it
With a
as if
business
it's a business mindset. It's
sure.
not like
Yeah.
if you're going in kind of thinking about personal
Mm,
things as well. It's just you're a
mm,
work person doing a work thing with another work person. It's not
mm,
necessarily,
yeah.
but
It's
Yeah,
more
like
of,
you can't
yeah.
call me Charlie. Like Charlie is my name in our family, but he
Oh,
has to call me Lottie, and I don't say darling or anything. Like we talk
okay.
to each other like co-workers.
Yeah.
You just go in with a complete, you really do try and take, we
Mm,
used to even have like in
mm,
front of the door, there would
mm,
be little
both,
okay.
post-it notes. We said we're going to bring them back,
yeah,
didn't we? And it's
Okay.
like, today's
Mm,
going to be a really good day. Trust
mm,
in the team. Like it's just sometimes
mm,
you need that, and maybe we should change that
yeah.
to
And
like
it was to go into,
okay.
I mean, I know in the dining
Mm,
room, but it'd be
environment.
you'd go into the second bedroom, which is the office, and be like, this is the work zone. And then
mm,
we'd leave. We'd often do a walk at the end of the day as well to kind of
mm, yeah.
de-work.
Okay. Got you.
There's often a lot of those emails we said about sending emails to ourselves as
Yeah.
walking. Could you email me that I forgot to
Uh,
do, da, or email
yeah.
to check up on
It's always
so and
me
so?
telling him. He still
Okay.
might be
Yeah,
it. Slightly.
basically, yeah. And that kind of helped to then unwind. So then when you're going into personal time,
Mm,
making dinner, going out,
mm,
whatever, it's then
That's probably enough.
you've kind of like, when
yeah.
you write your notes at the end of the day for you to pick up the next
Mm,
morning, it's the same
mm,
between the two of you. So you've kind of gently taken
mm,
off co-director
mm,
or co-worker hat and
yeah.
then gently putting on normal hat.
Perfect.
Because I also, I said to you, we reinvested into our relationship. So I was seeing a
Mm,
counselor because I wanted to
mm,
understand what was going on inwardly for
mm,
me. And one
mm,
of the things she said was have really clear responsibilities of what
mm,
both of your roles are. So then
mm,
both of you feel like you're taking ownership of those roles
yeah.
because
Yeah.
sometimes they, like you mentioned, literally the words
Mm,
overlapped.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
now there's a
Mm,
clear divide between the two of us. And
mm,
sometimes
mm,
Luke will try and speak to me and I go, I'm not here. And
yeah.
he's like, and
Okay.
you'll like put your
Mm,
headphones in and you'll email me because he
mm,
knows,
mm,
if I'm engrossed in something, I can't be
mm,
interrupted.
yeah.
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 We've got very
Totally.
definitely a type A, type B
Okay.
approach to things. So when we're
Can't
both
tell at
in,
all.
Yeah, I tell you what, he's got type A tendencies since I trained him.
yeah, kind of been like, because like Google Calendar is now tells me what to do. Just point and shoot with
He's
stars.
color coded.
Yeah, beautifully color
Love
coded.
that.
Huh?
It's I- when I have to redo it, it's
Mm,
so because
Hard.
my brain type is just like I'm like looking at it like
mm,
what on
yeah,
earth is going on? It's really difficult. But
sure.
then when it rolls around to that calendar day, I'm so thankful because I'm like because
Yeah.
obviously as a business owner you can plan in things like this, discovery calls, some
Mm,
flexibility for the day. You kind of you
I
need
think
that
you also need
and
the structure, yeah. Well
yeah.
done. Really
I'm
good.
so with you.
the
But I
primary
really
school teacher
hear,
coming up.
That was genuine.
but I really hear that like it's been a couple years of kind of shaping, forming. It's been
Yeah.
lots of changes too, and
Yeah.
how
It's
you've
such a short
really
space of time.
lots of changes, and how you've kind of shuffled
Yeah.
into your roles, responsibilities, and also I really hear that communication and kind of getting support from counselors or coaches have really helped kind of smooth around the edges because they totally do bleed. What is the word for it? They bleed into one.
What? I don't know where we'd be if we didn't have the coach that we had
Yeah,
Mm.
or the
Mm.
counselling stuff. Because actually, I think we both just found it's more me because I think
Mm.
I was coming out of like lots of other things. And I think it's,
Mm.
you might benefit from it. I guess you've got one now, it's me. But like, it honestly, I think it was like the best decision because you need someone outside of it. Like, it can't be friends, it
Mm.
can't be
Yeah.
family. At the end of the day, they're going to pick a side. His mum
Yeah.
will pick him, my
Sure.
mum will pick me,
Sure.
sometimes him, and never. And then
Mm.
it's just like if you talk to friends about it, but like, they don't really
Yeah.
understand what it is to be a business owner and running it
Yeah.
together. You need
Okay.
someone on the outside to look in and go, well, who's doing what? And
Yeah, almost.
simple things as well that we're both like, oh, why didn't we think of
Yeah,
that?
yeah, because they just approached it as if it was just a thing, like an
Yeah.
entity, whether it was two people, one person, 100 people.
Mm.
They were
No
just
one
like,
leading.
this needs to happen. Who's doing that?
Yeah,
And it was like,
yeah.
I
Oh,
think you. And it was
Yeah.
like, actually, we don't know. And it's like, right, okay,
yeah.
fair enough. That's where this has come from.
Yeah,
Literally
that's
treating
where
it like
that.
a science project, isn't it? It looked at it in a scientific
Yeah,
kind of way.
Mm,
emotion
mm,
Yeah.
with any bias just coming in and just being like, look,
mm.
these
Yeah.
things need to happen. Why aren't they? And it was really
Yeah.
nice to happen.
Communication, isn't it? It's always about that.
Communication. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is the thing I think that it all trickles back down to. It's got the most circles around that word over all of the other words. Communication.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Well, thank you so much. I mean, thank you so much for coming in and sharing, because I mean, you give us insights into Virtual Lottie and also UK VA Cafe, and also yourselves as a couple. Did I say that right? Or is UK VA?
Yeah,
Perfect.
yes.
UK VA
Great.
Cafe. So thank you so much for coming on and sharing.
Thank you.
Absolute last question. Where can people find you if they want to reach out and talk more or talk about VAs? Where can they find you?
I think probably Instagram is where we spend most of our time, isn't it? So it's
Okay.
Virtual Lottie on Instagram, and yours is Lottie Doherty.
Lottie Doherty underscore. But if you go onto Virtual Lottie, you'll find both
Yeah.
of us. We're both on there.
Perfect.
Luke front and center.
Perfect. Perfect. Thank you so much. Thank you.
No worries. Thanks for having us on.
Thank you so much, Lily.